if you are at all considering a Miele countertop coffee machine, the Miele 6160, what is this model about and what it does? There's one person who knows exactly, and that's Mess from Miele. Now, before we get started, Mess, who is Miele?
Sure. So Miele is a German company that's been around since 1899. Started out making cream separators back then, but of course, not much of a market for that anymore.
Long time ago.
That's a long time ago. They started going into washing machines, including the wooden tubs, and of course into dishwashers, vacuum cleaners, and of course into the appliance section where we're very well known for that, and then eventually into the coffee machines. It's all about quality from Miele more than anything else, both the quality of the product and the quality of your coffee.
Is the 6160 also made in Germany?
The 6160 is made in Switzerland.
Swiss-made machine by a German company. We're off to a great start. Let's learn more about this.
CM6160 is in the middle of our lineup from Miele, from our coffee machines. We have a CM5310, the CM6160, CM6360, and 7750. This particular machine here is probably one of my favorite. It is only comes in black, so you could like black. But it does have all the features you would normally want in a machine. So not only can you do, just like the other 5310, make all your favorite drinks, your espressos, your coffees, your cappuccinos, your lattes, it has a lot of extra added on to it. First of all, it has a hot water spout. So now you can use the machine for doing teas. You can also use it for hot cereals in the morning. And all that extra capabilities, if you want to make a true style Americano where you do the espresso shot and add some hot water, you can do that now as well. And when you step up to the 6160, you get an increased size water container.
Right.
So you go up in size for that. You also get a larger drip tray and waste container. So, and another nice feature is you start having user profiles. So one of the great things with the Miele coffee machines is the ability to change all those parameters for making the drink how you like to have the drink. Now, with the user profiles, that means that everybody, up to 4 different user profiles can be put into this machine. So it can be your spouse, or it can be somebody else in the household, or a friend who always comes by, can have their cappuccino made in their way.
So this ties into the customizability because you can customize the parameters, right?
That's correct.
And I can customize it the way I want for myself. I save it under my name, and then have my wife's completely different, with different amount of milk and coffee and strength and all that. Save it under her name.
Yeah.
And all she has to do is go to her profile and choose cappuccino. It'll make it exactly the way she wants it.
Her cappuccino.
That's beautiful. Let's kill 2 birds with the one stone and not only show how we make a drink, but also how we customize parameters of any said drink. Okay. What would you choose? But the other thing is, this is a tall glass, people, and this spout has a large variance here as to how tall of a glass you can do. And let's go through how we could customize parameters.
Go into the menu.
Fantastic.
You can either go down, or you can go up. Up, it just scrolls to the other way.
Okay.
You can go to the parameters.
Okay.
Then choose the drink you want to change. We're going to do a latte macchiato.
Let's do that.
Have the nice glass for that.
Right.
You can change your portion size. You can change the amount of coffee. This is how many beans it uses to brew. You can increase that or decrease that up to 15 grams. You can then change the...
That's a lot of coffee. That's very good. 15 grams.
You can change the brew temperature, so we can have a medium brew temperature. And again, the whole idea is that we want to have it so it's drinkable right when you have it coming out of the machine. So there's no reason to always have it on maximum, but you can change it how you like it. You can kind of go up to maximum for it. And for the espresso shot, that's 89 degrees Celsius.
89.
89.
Fantastic.
And then you can... we have the maximum brewing temperature. We'll put that on. Then you can have pre-brewing. Pre-brewing, essentially what it does, it's once it's ground, the coffee, it makes it into a little, compresses into a little puck.
Yeah.
And at that point, in pre-brewing, it kind of wets the coffee a bit before extraction the main portion of the coffee. This preps it, if you will, and you get more flavor from it. Okay. So you can enable that. You can have it as a short version or a long version. And then lastly, you can, if you really mess everything up, you can just reset everything. So we're going to do the portion size now. So essentially what it's going to do is going to heat up the milk pipework. What it's going to do is it's going to send milk in. It's going to go around some heating coils.
Oh, wow.
Heat it up.
Okay.
and dispense it into the glass. And now, again, you can change all this for how you like it. So do you want really milky lattes? We keep going with this.
Right.
Whenever it's the right size for you, and in this cup, I think we're going to save it like
You
this.
see there. And then we're going to automatically.
We're going to do the milk froth next. And while it's doing the milk froth, it's already preparing the beans for the espresso shot. There's no reason to wait. Now, it's dispensing a fair amount of milk froth. I like it very milk frothy. So I'm going to say, let's give it a little bit. You know what? Maybe there's perfect. As this dispenser, you can see how the layering effect works. And we're going to save it when we want it to be. I like to be a little bit longer. Generally speaking, we want to have a good ratio to the milk froth and the hot milk. And of course, we're going to do that at a couple moments.
Well, that's beautiful.
That looks pretty good right now, right?
It does.
Yeah. So we're going to save it. And that means for the next time you make this latte macchiato, this is what you're going to get. And again, everybody in your household could have a different way of having it.
Now, this you have done, this you have done without having to learn how to make espresso or learn how to froth milk or anything like this. See how it's dancing? That's beautiful. Now,
the froth is really good on these machines. One of the great things about the frothing on the CM6160 Milk Perfection is it essentially froths the milk twice. So you get a nice dense froth that is absolutely perfect. We recommend using cow's milk dough for the best results. And from that, 2% will give you the good combination of thickness in the froth and lightness. If you use 1%, it's going to be a lighter froth. If you use 3%, it's going to be a denser froth.
what are the buttons here about? Can you take me through the interface of the machine?
Yes, so on the interface here, you have the quick access buttons to the most popular drinks. You have your espresso, your coffee, your cappuccino, and your latte macchiato. You also have your long coffee, so this is for the bigger mugs, your Sunday mornings, your espresso macchiato. You have, as I mentioned before, and you can do teas on this machine. So this is your tea option, where it will then dispense the hot water in the correct temperature based on the kind of tea you like to have. So for example, for your black tea, you may like to have it needs to have a higher temperature, for example, than Japanese tea. You also have the button here for additional drinks. You can just go into that menu. And then there's a whole whack of other ones. You have your Ristrettos, your Cappuccino Italiano, your Cafe Latte, your Flat White, your Cafe au Lait. You can dispense warm water by itself, so that'll be a lower temperature. So if you have, for example, making cereal for a kid and you want to make sure she doesn't burn herself, you can do that. You have your dispensing hot milk by itself. This is also great for topping up a drink or adding to cereals or maybe hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate.
You got it. And milk froth you can dispense by itself. And again, this is a perfect addition to any drinks again. Maybe you are making hot chocolate with the hot water. And then you can add a little bit of milk froth to that. Make it nice and festive. You can do your hot water by itself. And then there's also a coffee pot option. So this is great when you have people coming over.
Right.
It will make from 3 cups and upwards, or 8 cups in a row, and that way you have a container you can just pour out.
Right.
If you don't want to have people just standing around a machine.
Yes. It doesn't come with it, but Miele does have a coffee pot as an accessory if you're ever considering the coffee pot option.
Absolutely. And it's also a great way to fill up a thermos if you're going out for the day.
Oh, nice.
In wintertime, or if you have a big travel mug that you want to fill up.
Okay, perfect. Now, some of the Miele models are capable of making 2 drinks at the same time.
Yes, so it's essentially one of the big features on Miele machines is the one touch for 2. So one touch for 2, what it does is it makes 2 drinks, including milk-based beverages. So if you want to...
That's important. Yes.
Time, if you put the glasses in there, it'll dispense essentially twice the milk first, and then it'll brew 2 shots of espresso right after each other and split in between them. So they're the same temperature, they're ready at the same time for you and your guest. It is also a great way to make a really large cappuccino, for example, because it'll be all size. So if you have a really big mug, you can do that.
Yep. So both milk-based and espresso-based drinks, 2 at the same time, no problems.
Splits it inside. You can see here. It comes in, and then it splits it between 2 nozzles. So that way, it's really easy to have 2 different drinks at the same time.
There we go. Fine. And that was. We're gonna come back to the fact that that opens up and allows you to get in there because that's a really cool feature. Another thing is double shot. What if I'm just just one strong espresso is not good enough. I want 2 very strong espressos.
Well, you can do the one touch for 2 and just make 2 espressos on top of it.
Who does that?
But if, for example, if there's a long coffee, so a long coffee will have extraction for much further away, but it can be a little bit more diluted than maybe you would like to have, or some guests would like to have. So you can double the strength of pressing double shot. So what double shot does is that it will dispense the same amount of coffee, but halfway through it will make another puck, which is essentially grinding another portion of coffee so that you get more strength out of it. I like this for the summertime because in the summertime you can actually pour that strong, more concentrated coffee over ice, and that way as you melt some of the ice, you get a nice, perfect flavored iced coffee.
Fantastic. A lot of people always care about, when they're considering their coffee machines, their true Americanos. Tell me more about how this machine can make the proper, authentic Americano.
Oh, well, of course, Americanos is all about having a great espresso to begin with. And with these machines, you have the control to have the amount of coffee you like, the temperature you prefer to have it. It has the right pressure when you're making the espresso. And you can change all those parameters. So for the Americano, for example, it is an espresso shot with added water, because it was from back in the days where they, in Italy, when the American soldiers were over and they couldn't take the strength of an espresso and they wanted to dilute it, so they added hot water. Now you can do it that way by just having an espresso shot and then adding hot water separately, and that'll make it authentic. But I would prefer to just change the parameters on my espresso to make it how I'd like it to have it. So if you find an espresso is too strong, and this is the reason why you add hot water, why don't you just change the parameters to be how you like it to be? You can make it a much, much longer shot to begin with, or you can just have an iced coffee go in there. There's many different ways you can change it to your liking.
Let's go very quickly through the settings, because we're just going to get to know the machine a little more there. In the settings, what do we have here? Okay, can you please explain to me this? A couple of things now. Just to read what we have here, we have language settings. You have timer settings, tea timer.
Well, so this machine can do teas, as we talked about earlier. Right. So with teas, you can have the right temperature, but you can set the steeping time so it'll beep at you when it's ready to drink.
That's phenomenal. Volume, I'm assuming, is the beeping sound of the buttons.
If you're sensitive to the beeps that the machine makes, you can put down the volume.
And you have lights here, and the reason they put lights here is it just makes the drink stand out so much more. The cremas look so much more. You can actually adjust how bright the display is on this thing too. And then altitude. And then after what is altitude about?
Well, again, it's all about precision and the best quality coffee for you. So depending on where you are, you're going to get a different kind of coffee. So if you're high up in the Alps, like hey, this is Swiss made, you're going to have a different kind of result. Right. If you're down at sea level. So
you can actually adjust the altitude.
It's going to be better coffee.
We have performance mode, expert mode. What are performance mode and expert modes on this?
So performance mode puts the machine into preparation for doing different tasks. So you can have eco mode, which is where it's more energy conservative.
Right.
So it will turn off a little bit faster. You have barista mode, where it will prep itself mainly making espressos and coffees. You have a latte mode, so it'll be faster to make your cappuccinos. And then you also have party mode. So if you have a lot of guests over, it will make it nice and bright, and at the same time, it will not call for any cleaning or anything like that, because it does call for it and makes it easy for you to do. But of course, you don't want to be interrupted in the middle of an evening with a message saying, oh, you should clean the brew unit.
Yeah. So it just goes through making drinks without bothering you with it. Also, wait a minute, there's a Miele at home, and that should explain this last button there.
The software version, yes. So you can connect the CM6160 to Wi-Fi with a Miele app. It's the easiest way. With that Miele app, there's lots of things you can do. My favorite function we call Barista Assistant. So if you find it can be a bit overwhelming to change the parameters on your drinks, you can actually use this guide on the machine, on the app, that will walk you through choosing the right setting. So it'll make drinks for you. It'll ask you questions, and then it'll change those parameters on the go until it finds the right espresso, coffee, cappuccino, or latte macchiato.
Perfect.
The other nice thing about it is that you can also use it to update software. So there's a software version on this. So this is the strength of Wi-Fi, I think, personally, is that you can update the firmware on the machine as we come out maybe with newer versions in the future.
Here's my question. The 6160s, do they get these very nice milk containers, or do they not?
It does not come in the box, but you don't actually need to use it. In the milk container, you will get essentially this. This is what you'll get, but the longer straw version. And then you can actually pop this right into a milk carton.
Okay.
You don't actually need to use this.
Okay.
This is actually a really easy way to do the milk because you don't have another thing to clean.
Right.
Now this looks prettier.
Yeah, it does look good.
Convenient. So if you like to get it, you can. It's an accessory you can buy from us, and it will go right with the machine.
Okay. Let's talk about maintenance and cleaning this unit. Okay. Sure. Now the Miele 6160. Tell me where it's made.
This is made in Switzerland.
Fantastic. So it's a Swiss-made machine by a German company. That's amazing. How much cleaning and maintenance does this thing need?
Well, there is some maintenance you have to, like any other machinery. If you want it to last, you do have to make sure you clean it. But it really helps you out. One of the biggest things is milk-based drinks. Because you have milk going through the pipe, you're going to make sure that's clean. So a couple of things you can do is, one is if you really forget some, the dual pipe work here will actually end up sending water through one of the pipes. And then it has a little ball valve so it doesn't go into your milk, and then it goes right back into the machine. So it will always rinse it for you and make sure there's no water left in the lines. You can also, like you could in your old machines, put it directly into the drip tray to rinse the milk pipe.
So the old machines required you to put the milk pipe back into the drip tray so you could clean that single pipe. Now you don't even have to do that.
The other nice thing about this is that it will actually come up with messages on the machine when you do need to do cleaning. So there's a couple of things you have to do. One is cleaning the brew unit itself. It is a removable brew unit. You can actually open up from the side. And
that's very important.
Out, and you should do that. The manual again will
rinse it under
times to do this. You can also have cleaning tablets that you just drop through the ground coffee chute. So the ground coffee chute is on top of the machine. This is also useful if you get some flavored coffee when you're out traveling, and you want to have a shot from that. But from the cleaning perspective, you put a little tap in there. The last thing you do is essentially descaling the machine, again based on the water hardness. You run some descaling tablets through the machine. The other thing about cleaning for the milk is that you can take this off. And then you have access directly to where the milk gets dispensed. So you can take this whole thing out and take it all apart and clean it. This makes it really easy to clean by hand. You can also get a cleaning power, so if you don't want to do this. And then lastly, a lot of components of this is dishwasher safe. It'll actually have an icon directly on it. So for example, the drip tray itself will have little icons for for dishwasher safe.
Beautiful. Okay, the 6160 countertop coffee machine from Miele, one of the most popular because of the amount of just pure sheer value it offers without asking the top dollar. It does come with a 1-year warranty, full service and labor and parts, everything included. We ship these free of charge. We get a 90-day price badge guarantee to go with it. We offer financing. We can help you with videos on how to put together the machine, how to assemble it, and how to descale it, how to clean it. No questions will be left unanswered. Now, if I've missed anything, if there's any other questions you may have, coffeewarehouse.ca. I cannot thank you enough, sir. You have been tremendous help, and thank you very much for your time today.
You're welcome.
Cheers.